The cafeteria was filled with laughter, the cruel kind that echoes louder when it's directed at someone who can't fight back. Mara Ellison, a quiet 16-year-old girl, sat alone at the far corner table of Lincoln High, poking at her lunch. Her sweater was 2 sizes too big, her shoes scuffed, and her backpack, old, faded, patched in places, sat beside her like a silent witness to her isolation. She didn't talk much. She didn't have to. In a world obsessed with appearances, silence made her an easy target. That day, as the rain lashed against the windows, a group of popular students, led by Tara Whitmore, the principal's daughter, approached Mara's table. "Well, if it isn't Miss Invisible," Tara sneered, her friends snickering behind her. "You know, we were just wondering, what's in that bag of yours? Maybe the reason you smell like old metal is because you live in it." The group laughed. Mara's fingers clenched around her spoon. She said nothing. Tara tilted her head mockingly. "What's wrong? Cat got your tongue." Then, without warning, she grabbed Mara's backpack and unzipped it. "Let's see what our school's charity case keeps in here." The cafeteria grew silent. Books spilled out, worn notebooks, a small photograph of an elderly man, and then something heavy wrapped in a gray cloth. Tara frowned, curious, and pulled the cloth open. Inside was a folded military uniform, dark olive, with a gleaming insignia stitched near the shoulder, a silver eagle and 4 stars. The room froze. What is this?" Tara whispered, eyes wide. Mara stood, voice trembling but steady. "That's my father's, General Jacob Ellison, U.S. Army. He passed away last month." No one spoke. The laughter died instantly, replaced by a suffocating silence. Tara's face went pale. I didn't know." Mara's eyes glistened with tears she refused to let fall. "Of course you didn't. You never asked." Then she picked up her father's uniform, refolded it with trembling H. The knock came just as the sun dipped below the horizon. Mara opened the door and froze. Standing there was Principal Whitmore, Tara's father, holding an envelope and a folded flag. Behind him stood Tara, eyes red and puffy. "Miss Ellison," the principal began gently, "I owe you and your father an apology." Mara blinked, confused. Tara stepped forward. "I'm so sorry, Mara. I had no idea. I was cruel." Mara said nothing. She didn't need to. The silence was enough. Principal Whitmore continued, his voice cracking slightly. "Your father, General Ellison, I served under him briefly when I was younger. He was a man of honor. Saved my unit once in Afghanistan. I didn't know you were his daughter until Tara told me what happened." He handed her the envelope. "We'd like to hold a memorial ceremony at the school to honor him properly. And you," tears welled in Mara's eyes. "You don't have to." "We do," he interrupted softly, "because we failed to see you before. We failed to see the hero who raised you." The following week, the entire school gathered in the auditorium. Photographs of General Jacob Ellison filled the stage. His medals glimmered beneath the lights. And at the center stood Mara, small but strong, wearing a simple white dress and holding her father's folded uniform. When she spoke, her voice was quiet, but every word hit like thunder. "My dad always said, strength isn't about fighting back. It's about helping someone who can't. He taught me that kindness is power, the kind that doesn't need to shout to be heard." She paused, glancing at Tara, who sat in the front row, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I used to think no one saw me, but now I realize even silence can be brave, because sometimes it takes more courage to stay kind than to strike back." The audience rose to their feet in applause, teachers, students, even the janitor in the back wiping his eyes. And for the first time in years, Mara didn't feel invisible. After 6 months later, Mara sat by her window, scrolling through messages on her old phone. People from around the world had shared their hashtag, #WhereYourStarStories. Soldiers, teachers, students, even CEOs. Her small act of courage had become a movement. Then her phone buzzed again. A new message. From Captain Reinhale. Subject: Your father's last mission. Her heart skipped. She opened it quickly. Dear Mara, I served with General Ellison in his final deployment. I was there when he saved us. But there's something you need to know. He wasn't just a commander. He was a teacher, even out there. Before he left for that mission, he said, "If I don't make it back, tell my daughter this. Her kindness will outlive my stars." Mara's hand shook. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She whispered, "You already did, Dad." Weeks later, on Veterans Day, the governor invited Mara to speak at the state capitol. She stood on the grand steps, her father's uniform displayed behind her, sunlight glinting off the medals. Her voice carried across the plaza. Heroes don't just fight wars. Sometimes they fight silence. They fight hate with kindness. And that's the kind of courage we can all wear. The crowd stood in reverent silence, soldiers saluting, children waving flags, strangers holding each other. At the end, as the band played softly, Tara walked up beside her, holding a folded flag. Together, they lifted it toward the sky. Mara whispered, "For you, Dad." That night, Mara returned home to the little house where it all began. She placed her father's uniform back into the old backpack, not to hide it this time, but to protect it with pride. Her father's words echoed again. "You don't need to wear stars to shine." She smiled through her tears. "Guess I'm wearing them now, Dad." Outside, the night was calm. No thunder, no laughter, just peace. And somewhere beyond the stars, she knew he was proud.